Hello, friends. It is Les. I appreciate you tuning into this week's episode of Balanced Black Girl. And this week, I am excited to talk about a topic that I think is really relevant for all of us, and that is trusting the timing of our lives. This is something that I think about constantly. And I know I say that every episode. I say I've been thinking about this a lot. I think about a lot of things a lot. Okay, I'm a thinker, big overthinker over here. And this show is just a regurgitation of the millions of things I think about in a day. But I have been thinking a lot about what it means to trust the timing of your life and to embrace new timings as they unfold. And a lot of what spurred this thought process for me was actually therapy, which has been great. I went back to therapy earlier this year, and it has been really, really helpful. As I'm now in my mid-30s, I am simultaneously exactly where I wanted to be, and I'm also nowhere near where I want to be at the same time. And I am allowing space for both. I think sometimes when people have any feeling of dissatisfaction or being upset or being sad about something or grieving something or wanting something, the knee-jerk reaction is to talk them out of it, is to immediately say, well, here's all the things you have to feel good about, or here's what you do have. Don't feel like that. Be happy with where you are. You're ungrateful, all of these things. And one of the biggest things that therapy is teaching me is that all of these things can be true at once, that it is valid to have feelings and desires for things that you don't have. And that also doesn't take away from having a sense of gratitude about what you do have. And the ability to hold space for both is really important. It's also kind of changed the way that I have been navigating the online world as somebody who constantly has people talking at them and telling me how to feel all the time. It makes me not ever want to tell other people how to feel when they express discomfort or dissatisfaction with some things. I'm realizing that so many people just want to talk and just want to express themselves and just want to put their feelings out there. They don't necessarily want a response telling them how they should feel or what they should do or what they're doing wrong. Again, I say this as somebody who receives that a lot. I am really careful now with how I tread those conversations in ways that I didn't used to be when I was younger. And so I've been allowing a lot of space for both gratitude for where I am and also acknowledging that there are other places that I want to go in life and letting that happen simultaneously. And it's been a real test in trusting the time of my life. And so when I say that I am exactly where I want to be in life, I mean, for my 20-something self, my current life was my biggest dream. All I wanted was to not be in a corporate space. I wanted to have control over my own time. I didn't want to commute anywhere because I had a really traumatic commute. I've talked about it a bit on the podcast. Very traumatizing. I wanted to be able to go to the gym whenever I wanted. And I didn't want to have to do work that I didn't care about. I wanted to live in a big city and I just wanted flexibility. And that is my life now. And I am so grateful for that because, man, my 23-year-old self, that was all she wanted. And my 23-year-old self's worldview was about this big. It was about this big. And that's something that I have addressed and have been working on in therapy is a lot of the things that I did in my young adulthood and that I desired and that I wanted were from a really limited worldview, that I didn't really understand that the world is big and that there is so much in life available to all of us. And I felt really suffocated by this really small worldview that I had. And so I allowed duality of both gratitude for where I am now while also realizing that I'm not going to contain myself to the vision of my 23-year-old self because she didn't really know a lot. She really didn't. Nice gal, good intentions, my younger self was, but she didn't really know a lot. She hadn't really seen a lot or experienced a lot. And so if I allow myself to be confined by the dream of my prior self, I feel like I could be closing off potential in a lot of ways. And I think a lot of us do that. We think that because we wanted to be something when we were little, or because someone else had an idea of what we should do, that we have to hold on to that forever. And the reality is that that can be really, really limiting, and it can create this really false sense of timing. And so it's something that I'm processing in real time and really learning to move through, of feeling so grateful for the growth and the experiences that I've had, while also recognizing that now, with my current worldview that is a lot bigger, that there are other things in life that we can aspire to and want to experience, and letting all of those things be true at the same time. If there's also something that I've learned, it's that as humans, we are really bad at estimating how long things should take. And I don't mean how long it takes to do a task. I mean how long things take in the grand scheme of life. I think a lot of people put a ton of pressure specifically on the decade of their 20s, in feeling like every single thing in life has to be accomplished in that one decade. We try to cram 5 decades worth of life experience into that one decade. And if we're 2 years into that decade and haven't done it all, then we beat ourselves up and we call ourselves a failure. When really, life is meant to be lived, and it's meant to be experienced over a long stretch of time, and allowing your life to take up the container that is time, instead of feeling like there's these constant impending deadlines over everything, is really, really important, and can help create a really necessary sense of peace when it comes to trusting the timing of our lives. And so I think for a lot of us, particularly in our 20s and also in our 30s, we feel this pressure of these life deadlines that feel like they're looming. We see what other people are doing, and it feels like everyone else is so far ahead and is accomplishing all of these things. We even see people accomplishing things that we don't even want, and still feel jealous because we feel like we should want and have everything. And learning how to quiet that noise and not succumb to that outside pressure is so important when it comes to trusting the timing of your life. And notice that I'm saying trusting the timing of your life, not trusting the timing of life, period. Trusting the timing of your life, because I believe that we all have unique timelines and ways of doing things and experiencing life that are pertinent to us, that other people cannot and should not dictate. I also think that for our generations, we're in this really interesting sticky point where we are among the first generations to have options. For so many generations before us, it seems like they accomplished things so much younger, when the reality is, what else were they going to do? I also don't know if I necessarily see some of these things as accomplishments. Things like getting married, having children, buying a house, all of those types of things are great. I don't necessarily think that they are accomplishments per se, depending on the context. Maybe in some instances they can be, but I think that they are events that happen in life. What is available to many of us now is so much more expansive than what was available to people in the past. There were less options of places, jobs, partners, opportunities. So yeah, when there's a lot more limitations on what you can have, it's a lot easier to just boom, 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 have that all in a row. And on the flip side, it can now feel really overwhelming because it seems like we almost have infinite options. It seems like there's so many options of what we can do for work. There's so many options of potential partners. There's so many options of what we can have that can also feel really overwhelming, because it's like, okay, well, how do you pick? And I think for a lot of us, we just kind of don't. And we allow that overwhelm to consume us. And I know I've certainly felt that way at times. I felt that way in my career, feeling this impending sense of like, what is the one thing that I am supposed to be doing? And why can't someone just tell me what that is? I spent years feeling that way. And instead, I've realized that there is no one thing that I personally, can only speak for myself, am supposed to be doing. life is a collection of experiences. And so I am having different professional experiences where today I'm doing one thing and 10 years from now, I will probably be doing something else. And those are all different collections of experiences. It doesn't always need to be this one definitive thing. I think that that is the way the world is moving now. That is the time that we live in, and learning how to embrace that within reason for areas of life where it is appropriate is really, really important and can create such a sense of peace. I've got a beauty gem to share with you today. Did you know that after the age of 21, we start losing 1% of our collagen every year? Now, that's the natural protein that keeps our skin firm, our hair strong, and our nails healthy. But don't worry, I've got something that helps you not just replace, but generate your own collagen. It's called BioSil, and it's been a total game changer for me. BioSil is a clinically proven collagen generator, so it's different from a collagen supplement. That means it helps your body create and protect its own collagen. After using it for a few months, I've noticed such an improvement in the texture and clarity of my skin. What I love most is how easy it is to incorporate into my routine. So just 2 tiny capsules a day, one in the morning and one before bed, and they're really easy to take. It's also plant-based, so there's no animal-derived collagen, and it's safe for those who are pregnant or breastfeeding. So if you're looking for a way to support your beauty routine from the inside out, you've got to check out BioSil. And because you're a listener of Balanced Black Girl, you get a special treat. Head to biosil.beauty and use the code BALANCELESS to get 30% off your first order. Yes, 30% off. So whether you want radiant skin, thicker hair, or stronger nails, BioSil's got you covered. Don't miss out. Again, that's biosil.beauty and use the code BALANCELESS for 30% off. Yes, 30, and your future self will thank you. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases. When it comes to skincare, I'm always looking for ways to get ahead and take a proactive approach. That's why I've been loving Dende, the first bio-based skincare line specifically designed to target what scientists now understand to be the root cause of visible aging in our skin, inflammaging. Inflammaging is something we all experience. It's that silent, ongoing inflammation caused by things like stress, exposure to environmental factors, or even the foods we eat. Dende's science-backed formulas are clinically proven to improve moisture, elasticity, tone, and texture while also targeting fine lines and dryness. Now, their secret weapon is a proprietary biotech ingredient that targets inflammaging 15 times more effectively than niacinamide. Now, that is a serious upgrade to your skincare routine. What I love most about Dende is that it fits perfectly into a preventative skincare routine. Inflammaging can start in our mid to late 20s, so it's important to stay ahead of it and protect your skin. So for me, using Dende feels like I'm taking control of my skin's future, and I love that they use science-backed ingredients with a real focus on sustainability. If you're ready to give your skin a proactive boost, you can get 15% off your first order at dende.com. That's DEINDE.com using promo code BALANCEDLESS. As we prioritize taking care of our bodies and minds, there's one thing we don't talk about often enough, and that's health insurance. Now, I know the process of getting it can feel confusing or even overwhelming, but having health insurance is such an important part of our overall wellness journey. Gaps in coverage or being uninsured can be detrimental, especially for young people and women of color. That's why I partnered with Anthem, Blue Cross, and Blue Shield to talk about how insurance can really be a game changer in your life. Anthem offers innovative, personalized, and affordable plans that fit your lifestyle. Whether you're focused on physical wellness, mental health, or just staying prepared, health insurance opens the door to resources and tools you might not even know you need. It's not just about covering doctor visits, it's about supporting your overall health journey. If you've been feeling unsure about where to start, Anthem has resources to help you find the right coverage. You can visit myhealthbenefitfinder.com to learn more, or even speak with a dedicated guide who can walk you through your options and help you make an informed decision. That expert advice is just one call away at 888-811-2101. So don't wait to take control of your health journey. Visit myhealthbenefitfinder.com or call Anthem's guide at 888-811-2101 to start exploring your health insurance options today. Taking this step can really transform your wellness from the inside out. I think what's so difficult is that we have all of these ideas around what we think we should have, what we think we should accomplish, and what we think we should do by certain times, when really we have no idea how long these things take. We have no idea what the right time is. And a lot of our ideas of timing are really based on comparison and sometimes misinformation. And so when it comes to trusting the timing of our own lives, I think a lot of it is coming back to ourselves and saying, what is it that I want? How can I do the best I can with what is available to me right now? And listen, I know how hard it is when you're working towards something, or when you badly want something and it feels like it is just not happening for you, and it feels like it just escapes you. There are still many things in life that feel that way for me. Yes, there's some things that I've achieved, but there's also plenty of things that I haven't, where I'm like, dang, is this thing ever going to happen? Or like, man, this didn't work out again. Like, I get it. That's such a part of the human experience. But learning that our timelines are ours and they don't belong to anyone else, and they're not necessarily going to be in perfect alignment with anyone else's, can create such a sense of peace and contentment that we need. We need, because there's so much chaos around us that we have to be able to find that peace and contentment within ourselves. So we're going to talk about a few different things today. We're going to talk about how to create your own timeline in life. We're going to talk about how to use manifestation to potentially collapse timelines when applicable, and what to do if it feels like you're off track to get back on track. So first, I want to talk about how to create your own timeline in life. It is really important to look at what you want without outside intervention. Think about what it is you want for your life that is out of pure desire in your heart. And when I say pure desire in your heart, I do not mean what your friends are doing. I do not mean what your parents think you should do. I do not mean what people at church think you should do. I do not mean what your partner thinks you should do. I'm talking pure desire in your heart for your life. If there is something that you specifically want to do when it comes to work, when it comes to love, when it comes to where you live and how you live, like, what is your soul drawn to when you don't have any outside influence, when you're not comparing yourself to your friends, when you're not comparing yourself to influencers? What lights you up? What appeals to you? What makes you feel your best? What makes you feel excited when you're not factoring in any of those other outside opinions? Those are the types of things that should mark your timeline. Is like, how can I do more of the things that bring me joy? How can I do more of the things that make me feel most like me, or make me feel most like a version of myself that I truly want to be? So your timeline should be marked by you doing things that get you closer to that higher version of yourself that is already within you, not adhering to what someone else thinks that you should do. And then the next thing when it comes to creating your own timeline is to truly trust that your time is perfect. So much of what we stress about and the timelines that we create for ourselves are absolutely made up. So many of us want to do things by a certain time when in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. Like, let's say something that is really important to you is buying a house. And you have this idea that you have to buy a house by the age of 30. And maybe you don't do that. Maybe you buy a house at 32 instead of 30. Do you think that at the end of your life, the family that is surrounding you, that loves you by the time you are an old person, right? Living your long, healthy, vibrant life. The family that is gathered around you that maybe grew up in that house that you bought when you were 32. Do you think they're going to be standing over you being like, well, she got that at 32 instead of 30. So, whatever. No, in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to matter because things happen maybe a little bit later than we thought they would. It's more so about us having the experiences that we are meant to have in this lifetime. But ultimately, at the end of our lifetimes, so many of the things that we stress about and that we put pressure on ourselves to do don't really matter. The things that really matter is, who are your people? Do you love them well? Are you surrounded by love in as many days of your life as possible? Everything else is figure outable. And all of these other arbitrary things that we stress out about, ultimately, when we reach that point, don't truly matter. So trusting that when things unfold in your life is truly when they are meant to. And there have been so many times in my life where I have gotten things a lot later and realized, wow, I'm actually really glad that that happened to me when I was 30 and that it didn't happen when I was 25. Because if it would have happened when I was 25, I actually don't think that that would have been right. I wouldn't have handled it well. Or, oh, you know what? I'm actually so glad that that relationship when I was 32 didn't work out, because I would have ended up in this totally different city having this different experience that I actually would have hated, versus because that thing didn't work out then, now I'm on this other timeline that is so much more aligned with me and I'm so much happier. So look for evidence of the ways where sometimes things not working out when you think they should have actually worked out in your favor in the long run. Journal about it. Write down a few examples. I think we all have different examples of that in our lives, and use that as proof of concept of your timing being absolutely perfect for what it is. Something else that I do to make myself feel better when I beat myself up about the ways that I, am not where I want to be in life is I call it my little now what theory. I picture myself having that thing that I'm striving for, that I want so badly, and then saying, okay, now what? And journaling and reflecting out what happens after that. And I do this because so many of us tend to build up and anticipate these ideas of things in our minds, whether that is like a big trip or a graduation or even like our own weddings. It's very common for people to get the blues after they experience these big anticipatory events. When that happens, you then feel like, okay, that was it. What do I look forward to now? Like, now what, in a bad way? I think of myself now saying, now what, in a good way? If I had this thing, what would be the next step? What is the next thing that I could look forward to? And that helps me feel so much more grounded in the present. And instead of seeing it as something that I don't have or a personal failure because I haven't achieved it yet, I actually see it as something that I can look forward to, as opposed to being something that we felt like was this highlight that's in the past that we now feel a little sad that it's over. You have to have something to look forward to in life. If you achieve every single thing that you want to achieve by the age of 30, now what? Like, then what are you going to do for the rest of your life after that? Then what will you have to look forward to? What will you have to anticipate? What will you have to work towards? And when I say work towards, I don't necessarily mean that in a capitalistic way, but I mean that from a personal standpoint. If you had every perfect trait and you just did everything so perfectly and had every perfect habit, okay, then what? Then what do you have to work towards? What do you have to improve to become? What do you have to level up to be at that point? I think so much more of life is the process of becoming those things, is anticipating those things, is preparing for those things, than it is about the event of the thing. And so learning to appreciate and enjoy the process and the working towards it more so than the payoff we think we're going to get from it is so, so important. Because oftentimes when we cross those thresholds and we have those things, it's actually pretty underwhelming when we make that move, when we get that new job, when we do that thing. So when you find yourself longing for something, imagine you have it and then say, now what? Now, what is my happiness going to come from? Now, what can I look forward to? Now, what can I enjoy? And start enjoying those things now. Don't see it as a failure. See it as something that you get to look forward to if you don't have it yet. Have you ever had a thought that was maybe a little disturbing or embarrassing and it made you stop in your tracks? Maybe it was violent or aggressive or even overly sexual in nature, and it felt completely out of character for you. You might wonder, why did I think that, and feel too ashamed to tell anyone? Here's the thing, these kinds of thoughts are actually more common than you might think. Almost everyone has them, but for people with obsessive compulsive disorder or OCD, these thoughts can feel sticky and cause a lot of distress. That's where NoCD comes in. NoCD was created to help people struggling with OCD and those unsettling taboo thoughts so that they can get the support and treatment they need. Every NoCD therapist is a specialist in OCD and uses the most proven treatment for OCD, exposure and response prevention therapy, to help you take your power away from OCD. And what's even more important is that NoCD therapists understand that OCD can look different to different people. So in our community, we may be more prone to focusing on things like our hair or our religious beliefs. And they receive cultural competency training, which means they respect and understand diverse identities and experiences. So your treatment is personalized to reflect exactly what your needs are. If you want to learn more about starting OCD therapy with NoCD, visit nocd.com and schedule a free 15-minute call with their team. That's nocd.com. When our schedules get busier, it's easy to forget about taking care of ourselves between work deadlines, seasonal transitions, and just the general hustle. But I've found one simple yet effective thing that's made a huge difference for me, and that's Nutrafol. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand that's trusted by over 1 million people. See thicker, stronger, growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. It's specifically designed to support healthy hair growth from the inside out. I've been using it all year and I've definitely noticed thicker, stronger hair with less shedding. And I have to say, I've gotten more compliments on my hair this year than I have ever before. And what's great about Nutrafol is that it targets the root causes of hair thinning, whether it's stress, hormones, aging, or nutrition, and it's completely drug-free, which I love. They also have versions that are tailored to different stages of your life, like postpartum or menopause, so no matter where you are in your hair journey, Nutrafol has you covered. If you've been dealing with hair shedding and you just want to get ahead of the game with your hair health, now is the perfect time to try it. Plus, with a Nutrafol subscription, everything is super easy. You get automated deliveries, free shipping, and even access to a free Headspace membership. So talk about self-care. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering my listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping. Just go to Nutrafol.com and use the promo code BALANCELESS, that's Nutrafol spelled Nutrafol.com, and use the code BALANCELESS for $10 off and free shipping. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code BALANCEDLESS. With fall in full swing and cooler weather here, I've been spending a lot more time on my feet, whether it's the weekend plans or just running errands. And honestly, finding shoes that are both comfortable and stylish has always been a bit of a challenge. But in this season, I have been loving Bionic shoes. They have totally changed the game for me. So I picked up the Uptown loafer in suede, and they are perfect for pretty much everything. What I love most is that they're super comfortable, but also sleek enough to dress up or down. Plus, they collapse flat, which has made packing for trips so much easier, because I don't know about you, but I always have such a hard time fitting enough shoes in my luggage. I also grabbed the 23 Walk 2.0 sneakers, and they've become my go-to for busy days. Whether I'm heading to brunch or just running errands, they keep my feet happy all day, but are still a lot cuter than your traditional dad sneaker. What really sets Bionic apart for me is how supportive their shoes feel without looking like comfort shoes. You know what I mean? It's like they found this perfect balance between style and functionality. I can actually spend hours on my feet and still feel comfortable, which is a huge win. If you're ready to check them out, Vionic is offering 15% off your entire order. Just use the code BBG at checkout when you log into your account at vionicshoes.com. It's a one-time use code, so be sure to take advantage. Vionic Shoes, wearable well-being for your feet. The next is really that alignment of feeling the feeling of already having it. And this is sometimes the hardest part of manifestation because it's like, girl, how am I going to feel it if I don't already have it, right? If you're trying to manifest like money, for example, and you don't have it, you're like, how am I going to feel it when I currently feel broke? Absolutely understand. It's hard to pretend like something that isn't there is there. What you're trying to feel is the sense of contentment that you think this thing will bring you. That's oftentimes when we're trying to manifest something, that's what we want. We're trying to manifest or call in something that's going to bring us safety. And that can come in so many ways. We think achieving things and having the approval of others will provide safety. We think that money will provide safety. We think that partnership can provide safety. And I'm not saying that those things can't. I think that there are real reasons why those things feel safe to us, and they can. But how can you feel that sense of contentment from those things with what you have now? How can you feel a sense of safety and security with exactly who you are so that you're in proper alignment for that thing that you're calling in? If you're trying to call in something that has a really calm energy, but you're walking around with a really chaotic energy, that's an energetic mismatch. So what can you do to be on the same energetic playing field as what it is you're calling in? Next, it's about taking aligned action. So I think what a lot of people get wrong with manifestation is thinking that, okay, if I just desire it, it will come. And there is a big part of action, execution, that is a part of the process, right? Faith without works is dead. You have to still do the things to align yourself to be where you want to be. So if there's something that you want to receive, are you doing the things that you know you need to do to position yourself to receive it? Are you creating space for it so that when you have it, you can hit the ground running and take care of it? Are you aligning yourself with where you need to be to make sure it happens? So think about that. You know, if there is a job that you want, are you currently working on the skills to help you qualify for that? If you want to move to a new city, okay, are you saving money for that move? Are you visiting that city? Are you researching what needs to happen next? Are you on Street Easy looking up apartments and getting your things together in a row? These things often don't happen without some level of work or action. And it doesn't mean that every action has to be the perfect action, but it means that if you want something, you have to take steps towards executing to get yourself where you want. And taking action can really help speed up those timelines to get those manifestations to come to you. So that's my little spiel on manifestation in this particular context around collapsing timelines and helping you align with what you really want, getting your energy in alignment to it, getting your actions in alignment to it, and allowing space for it to be better than you ever imagined. I've also done several different episodes on manifestation. We've had manifestation, experts here on the show. So we will link some of those episodes in the show notes if you want a deeper dive into manifestation and the different forms of manifestation. But this was an example around how manifestation can be used to collapse timelines for things that we are calling in life. The next thing is really redefining milestones that are important to you. So there are, certainly some big milestones that I think a lot of people work towards in their adult life, and that is totally fine. And it's okay if there are other milestones that you work towards and look forward to as well. And you know what? I'm even going to go so far as to say it is okay if you have different priorities for those milestones. It's okay if some milestones are above others, if the societal milestones are maybe secondary to you, to some of the other milestones that you have identified for yourself. That is okay, because at the end of the day, you are the only one living your life. You are the only one who is going to really deal with the full repercussions and the consequences of where you choose to spend your time and energy. You are going to be the only one living in your head every day play, living with the decisions that you make and where you choose to spend your focus. So really redefining that for yourself and defining, well, what milestones really work for you? Maybe birthing a business is more important to you than birthing humans, or vice versa. Maybe having children and being a mom and having the milestones of your children is genuinely what is going to make you the most happy and fulfilled. And that is great. If that is the case, ignore the girl bosses. Focus more on what it is you want. Or if you are in more of a girl boss camp, focus on that and let that be that. Other people who have so much to say about what you do and what's right and what's wrong are usually just projecting whatever it is that they feel a way about within themselves. I don't think that there's any one set of milestones or any one way of being that is right and wrong for everybody. You get to choose what milestones are most meaningful for you. You choose what matters most to you. You give it your all and focus on it, and you celebrate the heck out of it when you experience whatever it is that you genuinely want to experience. And it will feel so much sweeter because it's what you actually want. And then the last thing, and this is going to sound a little cheesy, but I promise it's not, that is to embrace your own unique journey. I make a lot of jokes with myself that I'm just like out here doing random side quests because my life feels very random and it does feel like a series of side quests. But in the grand scheme of things, I enjoy my little side quests and my little random days where I do all this random stuff so much. I love the stimulation of it and doing different things and having every day look a little bit different. Like, I really enjoy it. And I don't think that my life is going to look like that for forever. But while it does, I'm enjoying the process. I love my chaotic little days of doing different stuff and bopping around the city. It is enjoyable to me. It is fun for me. It is part of my own unique journey that at some point later on in life, when I'm not doing it anymore, I'm going to look back on fondly. So I think really embracing where you are right now as a plot point in your life, but not the end all be all of your life, is really important. When we talk about doing it for the plot, a plot is not a one-time event. A plot is a series of events where you're moving through so many different iterations of yourself and learning how to navigate those different iterations and collect those experiences. Like, that is what makes your unique journey. You are having an experience that is unique to you, that nobody else can say that they are doing the exact same thing or having the exact same lived experience as you. And you get to enjoy your own uniqueness in whatever journey or path that you are on in this lifetime. Okay, friends, that is what I have for you today when it comes to trusting the timing of your life. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it was helpful for you and that you feel more supported and content in your own journey, whatever that may be or however that may change in the future. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to leave a 5-star rating on Apple and Spotify, because girl, the ratings on Spotify went down. They went down. It's okay. It's okay. But I would love to see them go back up. So if you do enjoy the show, your 5 stars would be greatly appreciated. Please make sure that you're subscribed to the show wherever you get your podcasts, if that's Apple, if that's Spotify, if that's YouTube, just so that you don't miss an episode whenever it drops, because we're doing our best to bring you great episodes every single week. Thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you next week.